In this video, I'll be talking about Augment Guidance, also known as Guidance Trainer over in the Japanese PSO2. This is a unique ability because it doesn't really give you a bunch of stats, it's something else, and I'll explain a bit more about this ability in a bit. So if you're familiar with these videos, just make sure you watch the two important videos. If you've seen those videos, then go ahead and get into the meat of this video, click on that time skip to get right into it. If you're not familiar with these videos, if you're new to my channel or these videos, then note that you might want to watch the Affixing 101 playlist, which goes into a bunch of in-depth details on how to do affixing and stuff. It does break it down in a way where you can try to grasp it and understand everything that I do step by step. In this video though, if you want to watch this, you will need to watch two particular videos, technically three. The first video is the stacking ability video. There's only one video for that. The second video you need to watch, there's two options. You got the one that I use with PSO2 Affix Simulator, where I break it down in a concept so you can try to grasp it. The second option you can go for will be the in-game demonstration of me trying to get to certain slot numbers. Specifically for a unit, I went from a 0 slot all the way up to a 6 slot, and then for a weapon I was trying to go from a 4 slot to an 8 slot. That doesn't really break it down like the concept video. However, this shows you the nitty-gritty stuff and you going through the physical process and what you will have to deal with. Depending on which one you want to watch, you can watch them, or you can choose one of those two, or maybe you want to watch both. But you will want to get a general gist to what the upslot concept is, because this video is going to emphasize heavily on that upslot concept. With that out of the way, let me talk about the Augment Guidance, once again, also known as Guidance Trainer in the Japanese PSO2. This particular ability can drop from seasonal, urgent quests, emergency quests. Right now in the Japanese PSO2, for example, they are dropping these particular abilities on weapons and units. The max slot number it is dropping at over there in the Japanese PSO2 is an 8 slot. And you would want to hold on to these, and even the 7 slots, because of its unique charm. But you need to understand how this ability works specifically, because it's within its details, it's within its text, and I'm going to emphasize this in this video. If you got this ability from some other quest, you can put it down in the comments and mention it, but usually I got my guidance trainers from these seasonal emergency quests. When it comes to this particular ability, note that there's no SAF for it. I try to look for a unit and weapon SAF, it's not there. I typed in the name on Arc's Visa phone, it's not popping up. Also note that there is no pop item for an Augment Guidance, so it has to be a natural drop. And then when it comes to the receptors, none of these receptors will work with it. As you can see, I have all the different types of receptors. It's not working. I decided to see if the Rapiso will try to transfer this ability. It does not work as well. So the only way you can try to move this Augment Guidance to any other weapon in our unit is to do the stacking ability concept, which is pretty much figuring out how many copies you need so you can try to get it to transfer. 2 of them will give you the least percentage, it will be a 50%, and then 3 is going to give you the maximum percent, which is going to give you an 80%. And as you can see, any more than 3 is going to be a waste, and if you do not use 2 and or 3 pieces, you won't be able to transfer this Augment Guidance. So, once again, this ability does not give you any stats. However, if you read the description, I think it's in game as well, it will state that this boosts special ability transfer success rate onto this item by 5%. Pay attention to that text, it's important, because if you do not do it correctly, you will not get that 5%. So if I were to affix this, what is the percent? I'll give you guys a few seconds to try to guess. Now I said 80%. That's a fucking lie, especially if the Augment Guidance is in the base column over here. This is getting transferred at 85%. Oopsie. Alright. 85%. Ignore that. That's for later demonstration. That campaign boost is at 0 now, but guess what? It's in 85%. It says 80% here, but the moment I try to transfer this, it's in 85. Alright, so, quick question. What will happen when I try to do something like this? Will that Augment Guidance be at an 85 or is it going to be at an 80? I'll give you guys a few seconds. It's an 80. Why? Because that Augment Guidance is not on that base column. It's not on that original item, the first piece that you want to try to affix. Guess what? You can use this to your advantage in terms of upslotting. Now, you can use this to your advantage as well, especially if you're trying to push for a higher percentage. For example, this is going to be in... There's a separate video that talks about Guardian Soul, and it does give you the same breakdown. You can find this in the description, and yeah, this is a future reference. But if you were trying to do something like this, and let me take out the boosters and let me take out the success rate boost, you can see that this is low. And this is me working with a 4 slot. I'm not trying to upslot or anything. This is me just working at this percent. Guess what? These aren't good percentages whatsoever. There's a Guardian Soul that's at 10%. Returner 5, Crack 5 at 20%. Absolute Glare at 60%. This doesn't look good at all. However, if I have Guidance Trainer in this, yeah, I'm gonna only bump it up by a bit, but it still plays a good role to this, depending on, once again, RNG. Because RNG is that end factor that will determine everything. However, let's say I have a 45%. This is gonna look better than something that doesn't have like a Guidance Trainer, because that's gonna be a bit, what, 55%? That's gonna be like 65. This is still gonna be at 100. But yeah, that 5% plays a small role to this, especially if you try to upslot. Once again, you will want to watch those videos that I talked about in the beginning of this video to understand this point. Now, there's several other videos you do need to also watch to get the gist of why certain things are as they are. For example, the S-Class abilities, why are they at 100% compared to like a lower percentage and stuff? It's just because of its mechanic and how unique it is. But yes, the thing is, if I were to just affix with regular abilities in themselves, trying to upslot is going to be a pain in the ass, because you're dealing with these damn numbers right here. And I feel like this is only at a... Yeah, that's only at a... I'm missing something. Let's put an H in here. 3, 6, 7? Yeah, 3, 6, 7. Okay, yeah, so let's go with something like this. Now, you can obviously try to upslot into like a 6 slot to a 7 slot. Well, 6 slot and a 7 slot, but I'm going for the extreme, especially since Global now has 15-star weapons and they'll continue to get more 15-star weapons down the line. You would want to try to push for an 8 slot. This is my opinion, however, hear me out. The reason why you want to go for an 8 slot is because it give you the maximum utility for your weapon. Yes, you may not have the necessary materials and whatnot. You may want to wait for a boost week to actually try to push through an 8 slot. But with the 15-star weapons, you will want to try to push for an 8 slot. Especially with the Light Weaver weapon series. If you're not familiar with it, don't worry about it. If you don't want to hear any more spoilers about this particular weapon, then don't worry about it. It's just that you'll understand why you would want to try to get a lot more slots with these weapons, especially if they have a lot more S-Class ability slots. And if you did not understand any of that, once again, you'll learn as you go through my Affixing 101 playlist. And if you see some of my videos going into my nitty-gritty live demonstration of me going through an affix. But yes, here's the thing. You try to upslot to an 8 slot, this is the percent you're working with. And originally, all of these are junk abilities. Junk abilities are usually at 100%. You try to go to an 8 slot, you go from a 7 slot to an 8 slot, 6 slot to a 7 slot, 5 slot to a 6 slot. There's going to be a penalty cost. And for a 7 slot to an 8 slot, it's a negative 70%. Negative fucking 70%. If you're free to play, you don't have any boosters that could try to push for that. They might be able to give you a 50% boost, but even with a 50%, you're still dealing with a bunch of numbers that's not at 100%. Don't get me wrong, you can get close to 100, you can get 80, 90, 95, but there is still a chance for you to get fucked over by that RNG. Even if it's a small 5%, that can still hurt you. Let's say I decide to do something like this. I have everything at a 90%, I use a 60% boost. I do it, Okay, that worked out well. That worked out well. Everything works out well. But the moment it fails, let's say, yeah, if this failed on your first go, you just waste a 60% booster that is super rare for you to get to an 8 slot. You don't want to use high boosters for this. You want to try to find alternative means to get to those high numbers, to the high slot numbers, without using and wasting as much. So I would say use like a 40 or 45, but also do this on a boost week as well. Don't get me wrong, you can use the Augment Guidance to push with another 5%, and if you're willing to gamble at the 80%, that is up to you. But if I had a boost week, and let's say I have an Augment Guidance in here, and then I use a 45, that's a 90% right there, which is a lot better than me trying to use a 60%. But yes, you would want to manipulate this, so Augment Guidance is in here, and then you can toy around with it as you see fit. Now, what I'm going to have to do is toy around with this a bit more, and take that out. And if I do something like this, you can see that it's at a 35, but with a 45 and with a boost week of, let's say, 10%, it's at a 90%, and this is a lot better than me toying around with a lower percent. Like, yes, I could work with this with just an 85%, but let us go to the number 5. We're going to give this 5 chances and see if it will fail and succeed. So as you can see, there's 1 failed, there's 2 failed, so this is a 60%. So 3 out of 5 times we got a 60%. Let's say I take out the Augment Guidance. I just got rid of something, I wasn't trying to get rid of you. Alright, so let's get rid of that and let's work with something like this. We'll stick to what we were dealing with. So we had a 10% of stuff, we took out Augment Guidance, and now we're just using a 45 with this. Let's see how many times this fail and or succeed. So apparently the 45 with just a 10% is a bit better, because guess what? I didn't fail when doing that. This is up to you on which method you would want to do, but that 5% will help. Even though it will fail, it might fail, it will still help you, because guess what? You're not going with a high percent boost. Maybe you will want to just do like a 40% instead, and then maybe you will want to Augment Guidance, take that out, and maybe you want to do something like this instead and just use a 40%. And let's see if 5 times I'm able to... Okay, that's wrong, I don't want that. 5 is class ability, 3 of these. It's gonna be 85. Let's see if 5 times can actually do a bit better. No, it did worse. So once again, RNG is gonna be a bitch. If it's not 100%, stuff is gonna happen. But the point is, this is gonna help you try to get to it. And once again, when it comes to using this ability, you have to have that Augment Guidance on that main piece. So if you were trying to upslot like a 15-star weapon to an 8 slot, you do need to have that Augment Guidance in your formula, and you will want to try to get it at a 7 slot already, and you will want to fix it at that 7 slot. So let's say oh crap, I got rid of something again. Let me just move that, let me get rid of that. So let's say I don't have Augment Guidance on the base piece. What I want to do is try to get that Augment Guidance over there. It should be easy to manipulate. Just make sure you do not upslot. The moment you upslot, that's going to fuck up everything. What you want to do is try to fix it as it is. And let's have no percent boost over there. You'll see that you're not getting that 5% because once again the base fodder piece does not have the Augment Guidance. But you're trying to get it to transfer over there. You use the 30%, you get it to transfer, then this should be like the Augment Guidance in there, and then you will want to try to do a final fix with that, or try to upslot from a 7 slot to an 8 slot with that. So either way, Augment Guidance is a handy, nifty fix if you know how to use it properly, and if you can manipulate it and have the right pieces. Yes, you could technically once again work at the lowest slots, but that will ultimately depend on what you're doing. If you were doing a bunch of fodder making, for example, especially let's say with returners, So to quickly demonstrate this, let me just get Veteran Resolve. Let's say I have a bunch of Veteran Resolve. Like, let's say I'm working with something like this. Or usually, if you're trying to get to a grade 4, this is what you'll need to do. Now, when you try to get to a grade 4, it's going to be at a 30%. That's not favorable to you. And once again, when it comes to you doing this, you would usually gamble just because, well, it ultimately depends on what you're doing with it. If you were trying to make a final affix with something, let's say this formula over here with returner, I would try to avoid it. I do have to mention over here in the Japanese PSO2, they just released something that makes it easier to farm for this ability, and most likely that's going to carry over to global, so it will be a bit of a spoiler. However, I'm not going to mention it in this video. With Veteran Resolve though, guess what? That's a 60%. Do you really want to gamble with a 60%, or you want to increase your chances a bit? So let's give this a 5-run try. First time I tried to fix this, guess what? It didn't work. Veteran Resolve failed. Second time I did this, it succeeds. Third time failed. Fourth time succeeds. Fifth time it failed. So we got a 40% out of that. 2 out of 5 times it succeeded. So let us see if this augment ability will help us out. So here's the thing. If you want to try to manipulate this into this piece before you do this final fix, you will have to kind of go to the process of making a Veteran Resolve 3. So what you will have to do, let me copy that real quick, let me get rid of that. And what you'll need to do is have Veteran Resolve 2. You just need 2 of these. But for the augment, you'll need 3 of them at this slot number. So if I had something like this across the board, you want 3. What you want to do is try to get the Veteran Resolve, Augment Guidance, and this. And then you would want to gamble. Now, if you want to use the 40%, that is on you. I would try to use the 30%. And if this succeeds, guess what? Now I have a Veteran Resolve 3 with an Augment Guidance. And then I can go back to this. And then I can try to do this. Now, here's another thing I need to note. And this goes into a separate video, which you can look in the upper right corner or in the description. But this goes further into details about the little bonus that you get if you have the same name item. So if you were affixing with a bunch of the same units that has the same name, the same rarity, the same look and all that, there is a bonus that will kick in that can give you a higher percent. And if you use the the Augment Guidance, that will increase it even further. If you have a boost week, that increases it further. You use a boost item, that will increase it further. So if you were trying to make a grade 4, guess what? If you have all these boosters stacking up to your advantage without having to actually go for anything higher than what you need to do, like instead of going, like, you don't want to go for the 60, 55, 50, 45. Because if you're using this as a certain fodder piece so you can try to get a profit, you will want to spend as little as you can and gamble on that fact. Maybe you don't like gambling as much, but hey, if you're able to use as little resources in the next guy, then you have an advantage over them. And if you're using it for yourself, then guess what? You're saving a lot as well. But ultimately, the thing is, if you're able to indirectly get this to a higher percent without spending as much resources, you're a winner. If this is successful. If it fails, then oh well, try again next time. So let's say we just stick with this and let's give the 5 rule again. Let's see if this has a better percent than our last run. So first time we did this, it succeeds. Second time it fails. Third time it fails. Fourth time it succeeds. Fifth time it succeeds. So this isn't as good, but it does beat the previous method because we got that extra 5%. Once again though, it's entirely a RNG, and that is it for this video. Yes, it's a bit longer than what I wanted it to be, but hey, if I want to emphasize on why you will want to use this, it's because of the fact that it gives you that 5%. Yes, it's small, but if you're able to emphasize on it and apply so many multipliers to it, it can give you a lot in the end. It can help you save a lot as well, but you need to know how to use it properly. Once again, with this ability, this has to be on the main piece. If it's not on the main piece, you're not getting that 5%. Thank you guys for watching this video. If you have any question, comment, concerns, put it down below. If you want to see any other videos, once again, I have a bunch of playlists in the description. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.